Hey everybody, and welcome to Side Quest, the episodes we have when we're not having the game episodes for which you primarily know the podcast. Although at this point, Side Quest has been going for a while, so I'm not sure how true that is, but I've committed to the bit, and goddammit, I'm running out of breath. Joining me today are Rick Gualtieri, Robert Bevan, and Steve Weatherall.
Hello.
Damn it, my money was on passing out.
That was an intense opener. It's a high-energy side quest.
It's a special haze ability passed down through the bloodline that allows us to breathe and talk so that we don't have to shut up for more time than is necessary. If you ever come to a family reunion, you will see how much that's not a joke.
I don't think these people breathe, ever.
So, for our bonus action this week, we are going to attempt to discuss the situation with GameStop and Reddit and stock market, etc. This comes out a week after we record, generally speaking. The speed at which this story is moving makes me feel like I should say, if this sounds incredibly out of date, remember, it was a week ago. So, yeah.
Money might not exist by the time this episode lands.
This thing has been getting fucking more crazy by the day. But so, to take a quick dive into it, does everybody know about the GameStop situation, understand the GameStop situation? Should we take a minute and kind of break it down?
I saw you and Rick chatting about it earlier. That's about all I know.
I'm given to understand it's the most expensive practical joke that's ever been played.
It's less of a practical joke and more of a fuck you.
Oh, and it is a glorious fuck you.
It's a great one. All right, well, let's do a quick breakdown real quick of the situation and what's happening, etc. I should preface with the statement that this is in no way financial advice. None of us, to my knowledge, are licensed for that, or at least not actively licensed. And in no way should anything that we are talking about with this discussion constitute any sort of financial advice. I know we fuck around with, like, forewarnings a lot.
You write about a vampire accountant. You are an expert. I'm taking your advice.
I'm actively unlicensed.
Yeah. We fuck around a lot, but man, this is one where you have to give your warning very clearly, very upfrontly. So, a little bit of background. I actually used to work with the stock market a little bit as a job at one point. Not on Wall Street. I was never that fancy. I worked in a desk in a call center, but I did have to get tested and know some fundamentals in order to hold the job.
Did you pee in a cup?
Mm-hmm.
Did they make you pee in a cup, or did you just do it?
Well, this is pre-weed, so it wasn't an issue.
A coffee mug.
Yeah, my bosses, no. They were nice, very boring people. It was the midnight shift. It was a fucking weird job, but...
Your job is mug pisser.
So, to break down the situation with Reddit and GameStop and the stock market, we have to talk about what a short sale is. And fundamentally...
I'm sorry, I was going to say, this is something I've heard many times, I've had it explained to me, and I still don't understand.
Okay, so let's take Magic cards, because I didn't know if we'd have John or not, but that just seems like a very easy one. So let's say there is a Magic card there's a market for buying Magic cards. It goes up, it goes down, but it's not based on what the paper is worth, it's based on what people will pay for it. So let's say that there is a card that is worth, you think it's worth $10. And eventually everyone's going to realize it's worth $10. But right now, people are buying it for $15. Now, you don't own that card, but you have a buddy who does. So, you go to your buddy, you're right out of contract, you're like, hey, I want to sell your card, and I think in a month's time, it'll cost $10 for me to buy another card and replace it. So, you give me the card, I sell it, I give you your card back at the end of the month. And you give your buddy $2 for the privilege of it.
Can I interrupt you here? I'm already lost. All right.
Okay.
Now, the card's worth 10 now.
No, card's worth 15 right now. People will pay $15 for the card.
Even more confusing. If it's worth 15 right now, why does he want a promise from me to pay him 10 in the future when he could just grab his 15 now?
He's not getting any, so he is not the one making that bet. He's giving you the card. You are borrowing the card, just the card. And then you sell the card, and you get $15. So you have $15.
Okay.
But you owe your buddy that card at the end of the month. So, okay.
So I sold the card?
You sold the card. You owe your friend a card, that magic card.
Yeah.
You don't owe your friend any money. You just owe him that card.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Because that card is the stock.
Okay, I got you.
All right. So, 2 weeks goes by, 3 weeks goes by, and so basically when the month is coming due, you have 2 ways it can go. If you are right and the value of that card has dropped within a month, and you can generally do this at any point within the month, but so if that card's value goes down as predicted, then you have your $15. You can spend 10 of it to buy a replacement card for your friend. You give him his card back, you have made $5, and everyone is made whole.
Okay.
So you basically made $5 doing nothing.
Yes, you made $5 betting that the value will go down. However, it doesn't have to go down. It can also go up. So, if as the month goes on, you watch people are valuing this card more and more, it goes up to $17, $20, $25, and now you're starting to become what's called a squeeze, in a bad position, because you have to buy a card at the end of the month.
Right.
So,
okay.
if you whenever you decide to do it, you could lose. Say if it's $25 at that point, well, now you got to spend 15 and 10 to get that card back.
So basically, you're gambling that card you borrowed from your friend is going to be a piece of shit at the end of the month.
I've got it now.
Yeah. So that is what a short sell is, in a very fundamental concept. Now, what's happening with GameStop is that a hedge firm announced that they had shorted a lot of shares of GameStop. So they had borrowed shares and sold them anticipating that would go lower. So that is public information. They announced their position because that's part of the way you play the game, is by telling everyone, hey, we think GameStop is going to drop. Sometimes you can cause people to agree with you, sell it out. You can basically cause the reaction you're looking for. And so that's why you'll see places announce their position. The people on Reddit, I believe it was r/Wall Street Bets, collaborated, worked together. There's a whole lot of different factors that kind of went into this side of the movement, and I am condensing only the parts I know, and there's a lot that's out. But effectively, they came together and all started buying GameStop stock. That's really hard to say back to back. So they started buying the stock and telling everyone that they were buying the stock. Again, this is just like what the hedge firm did. They announced their position. There's nothing illegal about announcing your position. And, they were announcing their position with the intent to drive it higher, because that's what they're trying to do. They are effectively squeezing the Wall Street hedge firms by driving the GameStop price higher and higher. And as their debt comes due, it is causing more and more issues because they're having to close out those positions, aka buy their friends' new magic cards. And they're having to do it at dramatically inflated prices to what they ever expected. And so I think as of today, they had reported one of them at least had gone completely under. Others had needed bailouts, etc. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of what the GameStop stock situation is with Reddit versus Wall Street.
Was it done as a fuck you, or was it just like...
Yeah, see, this is one where we would need to talk to someone who was there in the impetus of the movement more than any of us were.
Yeah, because it seems like if you just wanted the stock price to go up, you could announce that without there being an attempt at a short.
Well, so there's part of it too, though, is because everyone knows that there is that short and that those positions are going to have to get filled. There's kind of like a cause and effect thing that we're not really diving into too deep. But the long and short of it is, I don't know what the initial impetus was so much, but as of now, the collective movement kind of seems to be more of a fuck you. And part of that is in reaction to what's happened over the last day or two. So as we are recording this on the 28th, this is the day when Robinhood and several other trading apps stopped accepting buy orders for GameStop, BlackBerry, AMC, a lot of the stocks that are getting similar treatment to GameStop.
Yeah. And the feeling there is basically they're only stopping it for the day traders, basically the people buying a few shares from like this Reddit crew. They're not putting any restrictions on it for the much bigger investors.
And they would specifically allow people to close out their positions, which helps the short sellers because, again, selling makes the stock look less desirable. So, yeah, there's a very real sense that this is them pulling in rank and file to protect the existing institutions in a very deliberate, shitty way.
You know what? I'm a big fan of this spite stock movement. I'm a little bit annoyed it's been derailed because the only advice I've ever been given that's ever stuck with me about stocks, because the rest is just gone in one ear and out the other, is that you should invest in what you believe in. And if you believe in just saying fuck you to some short sellers, by all means, you should be able to do that.
I bought a couple of shares of AMC yesterday for exactly that reason.
And I'll be perfect. And here's the thing: I'm not going to say this is all hedge fund managers, definitely not. But pretty much every time I've seen a hedge fund manager on the news or being given an interview, the person is quite obviously a complete fucking scumbag.
I'll say it's all hedge fund managers. It's all fucking hedge fund managers.
Yeah. So it's kind of like watching them cry and whine just winds up feeling good because they kind of deserve it.
Oh yeah, I mean, in the day since this has happened, there's been a class action lawsuit filed against Robinhood, and there's supposed to be congressional hearings yanking their ass in to explain what the fuck they just did.
Let the spite flow.
100%.
Yeah.
I will give you one piece of stock market advice that has always borne true for me. Don't put in money you're not prepared to lose.
It's an expensive middle finger, but it's a middle finger.
I've actually seen a couple spite posts like that on Twitter, basically people saying, I have nothing, I'm putting this in there. If I lose it all, I'll have nothing tomorrow. So fuck you. I'm more than happy to to watch Wall Street burn if it causes me to lose $5 or so.
Oh, that too. But just in general, even outside of this, whatever investment, I don't give a shit if you're buying a bond. If you're not prepared to lose it, don't put it in the fucking market.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's no different than book marketing,
Yeah.
You hear about people mortgaging their house to pay for ads, and it's like, oh, that's a bad bet.
God, I really have to learn to buy ads at some point.
Yeah, so do I, and I've been doing it for 8 years.
So, what is stonk? Why do I keep on hearing stonk? It sounds like a Muppet noise. What is a stonk?
I think that's just the meme, funny, internet-y way of saying stocks.
You kids and your memes.
But it's kind of great because if you think about it, I mean, all we've been pushing towards crowdsourcing for so many things, and this is essentially crowdsourcing the economy. Like this is actually kind of the free market in action, the way it's supposed to be, where the little guy is getting involved and making waves, not just a bunch of big people, rich folks, and the rich folks, it's driving them fucking nuts.
It's insane. I'm really curious to see what is going to happen with this because something is going to give. Something's going to change.
Oh yeah.
It's probably going to fuck us being the little guy, but because this strategy is fundamentally workable for any stock, and especially now that it's proven, it is a lot more dangerous to take a public short position.
Yeah, this proves the whole thing. It's it really just does prove the power of the crowd in that you have few people with a lot of money, but you have a whole lot of people with very little money all turning in one direction, and it's kind of showing how dangerous that can be.
Yeah, I saw a great post about and everybody who's really happy about us coming together to fuck over the rich assholes wait until I tell you about unions. Oh. I mean, I don't know how much we can pull out of this in general bonus action-y terms, but it is, I don't know, it seemed worth talking about. Do you guys fuck with the stock market at all?
No. I didn't realize I could do it out of spite, otherwise I probably would have.
Yeah, I did for a short time in Korea. I lost some money, and Never look back.
Yeah. Much like making bets going down to Atlantic City about pools, my forays into the stock market have been about equally as successful. However, my wife is doing a little bit of like minor day trading, and my oldest is starting to get into it. So I kind of like am encouraging that. I'm just telling them, don't ask me for advice because you might as well just burn your money.
Well, we were talking about gambling the other day on the episode, and I did say that the only time I've ever gambled successfully was when I gambled in a way that made a mockery of the entire sport. And this seems like, that's what's going on. So maybe I can get involved with this.
Here's how my luck goes. I worked at this telecom for several years, and they had a really nice employee stock program. So like I invested in it, yeah. When I left the company, I had a decent amount of stock, and I said to myself, okay, if the stock was doing pretty well, and I said to myself, if the stock hits, I think it was like $60, I'm going to sell, and I'm going to make a decent profit, I'm going to be happy. The stock hit $60 on a day I was nowhere near a phone or so able to make the trade. I was like out somewhere, and I read it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll come back and do that tomorrow. And that was the day the stock basically said, I'm going to nosedive and never stop.
Oh, shit. Oh. So, Rick, there's a thing called a stop orders and limit orders that somebody really should have told you about.
Wow, yeah. I wish somebody had told 20 something year old Rick about those things, as opposed to then 40 something year old Rick would probably be a lot less bitter right now.
Of all the days to bury a body in the Yukon.
God. So I have very, very pessimistic views toward the stock market, and for pretty good reason. Having my work experience is what gave me that view. And a little bit might be because I don't know if y'all remember. God, I want to say it was like 2009. There was a day where the Dow dropped like 7,000 points in the span of like 20 minutes or something. And then it pinged back up for a good chunk of it, but it was just like an absolute free fall one. And I worked that night. I had to deal with people on the phone going, "What the fuck just happened to my savings?" And it's not a great conversation to have with a lot of people. If you're wondering, not fun to tell them that their college fund is not what it was 2 hours ago.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
It's like, the bad news is your kid can't afford college. The good news is now he'll learn the value of hard work.
Yeah.
Bad news is you can't go to college, but it turns out math is bullshit anyway.
Oh man, the other bit that stuck with me is there was a really firm rule that you have to be absolutely honest when you're on the phone. Like everything is monitored, everything is recorded. There's SEC regulations. You can't say Amazon is doing good today. You can say Amazon is up on the day, because that is a factually true, defendable statement. Anything else would be considered opinion, which can constitute advice. Remember how strict I was on that warning at the top of the episode? Yeah, that came from experience too. So that is the thing you have to do. Now, there's a thing called a bond, which is supposed to be like an absolutely secure government-backed investment, not a great ratio payout, but it's stable. Except we were never allowed to say that. We were never allowed to say that a bond is a guaranteed investment, because they were like, yeah, you never know, the government might just fucking default on them. It's happened before. Like, oh, well then. Fuck me.
Were you allowed to say a bond might be a good investment unless horrible things happen?
I could say a bond is set to mature at this rate over this period of time and is backed by the government.
Reassuring.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I bet that drove people who were calling you nuts as they're trying to get a reaction. They're like, their wives are leaving. They're like, their dogs are committing suicide. And they're like talking to you and you're like, well, Pfizer shares were down today.
Well, the market was up. It was like the market was down on the day, but up after the drop. The market may go up tomorrow, may go down tomorrow. The market will do what the market will do. Sorry about your college fund.
Yeah, it's like you're the world's safest weatherman. Tomorrow, it might be sunny, or it might not.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It was a weird job, but I tell you, that skill set came in handy in like different corporate jobs. Because like when shit would be going nuts in the way that shit does in a corporate situation, I would just fall back on that, and I would just only speak in defendable factual statements.
Ooh, that is kind of the ultimate cover your ass survival skill there.
Yep. It's like, well, I received the email at 12:45. Did he reach out to you? I received the email at 12:45. This is taking a weird turn, but I don't know what we expected out of this topic, to be frank. I
like the idea because you're a very emotive guy, so I like the idea that once upon a time there was essentially robot Terminator Drew Hayes.
Yeah. I wasn't very good at that job. I should probably preface. It's not like I was kicking ass and taking names.
Just a pleasant conveyor of doom.
Yeah. I'm very proud of the fact that I constantly got dinged for not pushing our bullshit extra marketing services. Like, you should really push these on people. I was like, I'm alright, man. I'm okay with the subpar evaluation and not sleeping bad at night.
If only everybody would refuse to push the extended warranties.
Sometimes you just know you're not going to last at a job, and you can make choices accordingly. Well, does anyone have any additions for the discussion of stocks and GameStop and all the other fun stuff?
That has been very enlightening. I feel like I understand it a fraction more than I did.
Same here.
I will just say I have been enjoying watching it in the news, and I've been enjoying the hell out of it. Next week, when this episode airs, we might all be wearing tight leather face masks and riding in fire belching cars. But
I will.
Yeah, but it's all gone Mad Max. If you're listening to this through, I don't know, a skull you found in the desert, then that's the economy for you. But speaking of unlikely opponents having a ridiculous but probably necessary battle.
Nice. Very well done.
Yes. Excellent. That's why I've been quiet. I've been putting that one together. Anyway, has everybody watched the trailer for Kong vs. Godzilla?
No.
Or Godzilla vs. Kong if you're a communist?
Only about 6 dozen times.
I had an initial thought that struck me. And I know there's going to be some dumb stuff. I know. But the bit that got me just watching the opening parts of it was, wait a goddamn minute. One of these creatures is aquatic, and one of them is not. Why would you bring the one that is not into the ocean for a fight? Like, that's just dumb on the human's part. King Kong did nothing wrong on that. But what the fuck, man? One of these creatures can breathe in water and one can't.
It's like, I know. Let's have a cow fight a great white shark in the middle of the Atlantic. It'll be awesome.
Or in the desert.
We know why they did it. They did it because it's fucking awesome. I love how the trailer starts off kind of like, a bit spooky, giant monsters, bit tense. And then it's just like, drop the heavy metal. We're putting this monkey on a boat. It's glorious.
I have a plot question. I did see King of the Monsters, but I feel like Rick can probably shed some light on this one. It's been a few years. Was Godzilla not cool with humanity? Why are they recruiting a Godzilla killing machine in the form of King Kong?
Well, Godzilla's been the good guy in the last 2 movies.
It's
been more. I mean, it hasn't been like Gamera's the friend of small children everywhere. Hasn't been that kind of crazy, but it's been more like, okay, if we stay out of Godzilla's way, then Godzilla won't completely and utterly trash us.
So yeah, it's kind of weird that they're like, all right, Godzilla's our friend, but we need a failsafe in case he fucks with us.
I don't know. That sounds it's like Godzilla's our friend who might accidentally eradicate us at any moment. We should probably have a failsafe.
I really hope the plot is Godzilla's our friend. Yes, true. But wouldn't it be really fucking awesome if a giant monkey fought him anyway?
Okay. But Steve, if you're concerned that the giant monster that you depend on might betray you, I don't think another giant monster is the solution to that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Did they grow Kong in a tank or what? I mean, if there are two, like, city-destroying capable monsters in the world, I think it only makes sense to pit them against each other and hope they both die.
Yeah, you do some high school playground shit with it.
But that's also kind of like saying, I have a rat infestation. I know I'll fill my house with crocodiles to get rid of them.
We have done that on like an ecological scale, and it's always been like humorously disastrous. We haven't learned that lesson as a species.
Oh, no.
I'm not talking about breeding populations. I'm talking about two big-ass monsters. Let them, fuck each other up as much as possible, and then hopefully can finish off the other one.
Yeah, but it's kind of like we're 2 movies in, and not to drop spoilers, but in each movie they've dropped a nuclear bomb on Godzilla at least once, and it hasn't done shit. So it's kind of like, okay, we might throw these 2 monsters against each other, and they might kill each other, but there's a good chance they probably won't, and they will probably just destroy the planet fighting each other.
I'm 0 movies and 0 trailers in, and I'm just telling you my point of view based on that.
If you're the kind of government that dropped a second nuke after the first one didn't even dent it, then I'm going to suggest that civilian fallout is not at the top of your priority list.
Or put a nuke in a giant sandwich. Get them from the inside.
God, a part of me hopes that the movie opens every week. The government just keep dropping more and more nukes, and now like the world is just a wasteland, and they're like, it's Godzilla's fault.
Goddamn Godzilla came in here and wrecked the stock market.
Again, it just sounds very human.
Well, that was kind of the fun thing about this, about King of the Monsters, that I liked, is like the human parts were pretty ridiculous, but one thing that I loved is that all throughout the movie, the humans are talking about, well, why don't we kill these monsters? Why don't we kill these monsters? And at no point did the humans even come close to killing anything.
Humans are just sort of background noise in Godzilla movies. They're there to be imperiled and stepped on. That is what they're there for.
Yeah, it makes me think how awesome an R-rated Godzilla movie would be, where it was just him just stepping on like annoying children the entire 2 hours.
Just particularly vengeful Godzilla.
You know, you joked about the old Godzilla friend to all children era, but there's a little bit of that in this trailer.
Oh yeah, there definitely is.
They're going back.
They're going back. The good thing is they're not getting as ridiculous. I mean, they're not going back to the 70s and doing Godzilla versus the Smog Monster again.
I mean, we're pretty deep in reboot culture, Rick. I wouldn't be making any promises that you can't keep just yet.
Oh, they might drop Godzuki.
Oh, God. I will stand up in my fucking home and applaud if Godzuki appears.
Oh, especially if they change the theme tune when it comes on to something.
Oh, God.
Super
I
lame.
hope there's satellites passing over my house at that time, because they'll just get a good shot of me just shaking my fist at the sky.
It's fucking Godzilla gonna fucking wreck everything. And Godzuki. Yes.
Yes. The fucking hip-hop battling soundtrack from the trailer. Cutting to the Godzuki theme.
Ramp up the metal, it's Kong. Now bring in the string quartet and flute player, because here comes that fucking Godzuki.
It would be a very efficient way to tell every critic that they don't give a fuck what you think.
You're in my town now.
Would only be slightly more ridiculous than Scrappy-Doo.
Oh, the Scooby Gang rock up to this and all. Oh, it'd be perfect if it just went full Hanna-Barbera. Snagglepuss, Huckleberry Hound, the fucking works.
If El Kabong defeats Kong. They're like, alright, everybody wants an MCU. Well, guess what we've got? The Hanna-Barbera
Extended Universe, yes. Top Cat just being incinerated by radiation blasts.
Oh, someone hands Kong a cheetah-patterned bowler hat and a pair of suspenders.
Kong gets dumped into just a vat of dye and comes out purple.
This is all entirely credible, given what we've seen from the trailer.
Godzilla is swimming toward Kong underwater, and he's stopped by a shark doing a very copyright dangerous Three Stooges impression. God, now I really want to see this movie.
I can't help thinking I've set myself up for disappointment now. But I always thought to myself, I'm not going to get HBO Max. It's just another thing to get. But between a couple of decent-looking series, 30 coins being one of them, and this coming out, I think I might have to venture into HBO Max. Get some of this madness.
I mean, you can get a free trial's worth of content out of there, no problem.
Yeah, but I'll forget I have the free trial. That's how it works. I forget I have the free trial. A year from now, I go, oh shit, am I still subscribed to HBO Max? That's how they make their money.
Go in with a hit list of things you want to watch, so you can just knock it out and then see if they've got other shit.
Yeah, I mean that's the plan. I will not stick to it because I'm absent-minded and incompetent.
Yeah,
I will admit I got it in time for Wonder Woman 84, and that was so not worth it.
Yeah, but you got Harley Quinn.
That is true. And I got all the DC shows, and Doom Patrol, I think you mentioned it.
Fucking good.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Check out Young Justice. They've got up to season 3 on there.
I'm going to watch the 4-hour Justice League Snyder Cut because I hate myself.
Oh, God. Yeah, are you guys going to ATM that? I'm not.
Oh, God, for 4 hours? No fucking way.
I don't know. I might make a doom spiral out of it. See how it goes. Get some hard liquor.
Constantly play the drinking game. Drink every time you hate yourself for watching this piece of shit.
Every time you wish you weren't watching this movie, take a shot.
Welcome to the final ATM, because at the end of it, we'll all be dead.
I'm totally in for this.
You haven't watched the first Justice League. I'm going in here with like morbid curiosity is guiding me.
I don't do ATM for movies I give a shit about.
Actually, I kind of dig this idea, because we got Bob to do Endgame, which was like 3 hours. If he's willing to go in for Justice League, I might be willing to prop my eyeballs up long enough for it.
All right, we'll put that one on the burner.
You guys are also going to have to tackle the technical issue of that our recording software cuts out after 3 hours. We learned that from Endgame.
I think that'll be let's take a break. Okay, start new files type deal.
Yeah.
We'll do an intermission.
Intermission.
We should get some fun intermission music.
Let's all go to the lobby and poke our fucking eyes out.
So I'd be like, oh, whoa, Rick, that's a real one. You can't do that.
So, Kong versus Godzilla. We've seen the trailer. I know this is a redundant question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Who's your money on? The monkey or the radioactive lizard beast?
Yeah, I feel, look, I understand the concept of suspension of disbelief, and you kind of just have to work with the major characters you have. But this has always been a little bit of a, alright, come on. One of them has breath that can literally annihilate matter, and the other one is still made of flesh.
Yeah, I will point out, one of them has had, I think at this point, 3 nukes dropped on him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, so what are you going to do? Punch him to death?
I always bet on the mammal.
I'm going to play monkey's advocate here, because actual real life monkeys are fucking terrifying. So I think I've talked about how absolutely terrifying chimps are. You say he's going to punch him to death, but I'd remind you, the chimp's go-to move when threatened is to tear off your genitals, then face, with its horrendous monkey strength and boundless rage. So if Kong just goes like full chimp in this and just starts hurling like, I don't know, city bus size shit at Godzilla's eyes and just bouncing around the city like somebody on amphetamines.
Tearing through that cloaca.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing him doing the junk kick over and over and over again on Godzilla.
I mean, the monkeys don't fight dramatically and with any sense of kind of, gravitas and grace.
I'm sorry, did you just say monkeys don't fight dramatically after saying their go-to move is to rip off your face and genitals?
It's not drama. It's hardly like, Rocky versus Apollo, is it? It's a meth addict stabbing you in an alleyway. It's a different kind of drama, is what I mean.
Like the real life equivalent here is basically saying, okay, like, your meth ape, against a crocodile that breathes fire.
Meth ape is redundant. All apes are meth apes. Once they get their blood up.
We can give them a shit ton of meth.
So just say you don't need to do that.
Well, no, but if you do, that's more meth ape.
I mean, they may as well. I mean, they've tried everything else against Godzilla.
That would be a great plot point of like, Kong won't fight Godzilla. Have you tried giving him meth?
You'll fight fucking anything, I guarantee it.
All right, we're going to cover the little girl in bath salts. When he smells her, he gets high.
No, I think generally a crocodile would win against an ape if it had the drop on it, but I don't know. I think if the monkey was angry enough, it could cause some problems. And they get angry really quickly.
I don't know, man. Crocodiles are fucking killing machines.
Yeah, but I've seen like humans wrestle crocodiles. And humans are like the worst monkey in terms of animal fighting capabilities. We're like right down at the bottom of the scale.
You've seen humans wrestle alligators in very controlled conditions. And the humans don't always win.
Also, humans kind of know what to do, like, you clamp the mouth shut and all that. A gorilla probably wouldn't. It would just be like punching and shit.
Kong is smarter than your average gorilla.
He is.
See, that's what I'm going with. I think they're going to keep fighting for ages and ages and like have children in the meantime, and those kids are going to evolve, and they're going to come save Grandpa.
Where did you...
I'm betting on the mammal. I'm just going by history.
I mean, I guess you could argue that's what this movie is.
So Kong at some point is going to take a fuck break.
What? He didn't say break.
Monkeys also multitask when it comes to like horrible things.
Oh God!
He's just gonna jack off to mock him. So look at who still has genitalia, and then other monkeys are gonna go scoop up the sperm and.
I was just gonna say he's punching Godzilla with one hand, jacking off for the entire movie with the other.
I mean, their feet are also hands, Rick. Their feet are also hands. There's a lot of jerking off options for King Kong.
I mean, humankind has fucked its way out of extinction before. King Kong could like get his ass completely handed to him, but by the time that's happened, he's already knocked up like 1,000 regular monkeys.
Oh, that'd be great. Look,
a few generations' time, but we're all going to be doomed.
The humans realize their horror. They're like, yeah, he beat Godzilla, but he won't stop beating off.
But at what cost? No one wants to see that.
I just cut to the Edward Scissorhands introduction. I'm going to tell you the story of where snow comes from.
I'm going to tell you the story of why no one can live below the 3rd floor anymore.
Your grandpa was a good man, Billy, but then he drowned in monkey jizz.
Just like many of his generation.
Good man, bad swimmer.
Kong, he's got good swimmers.
Now listen, I know you don't want to put on the diving helmet. I know, but you're a jizz diver, like I was, and your grandpa was before you. This is how we survive. It's our proud tradition.
This is our world now. I'm not going to lie to you. I wish Godzilla was back.
Just water world, but...
Oh, God.
A normal sperm is microscopic, but Kong's are 6 feet long.
Oh, suddenly Kevin Costner drinking his own piss doesn't seem so bad.
Oh, God.
Oh, we write much better movies than these guys. They should really get us in the writer room.
It starts off as Godzilla versus King Kong, and in 20 minutes it's a disaster survival movie.
Ah, I'm definitely going to be disappointed by this movie now.
Sorry.
I think that was a given. That trailer felt built to write a check that they couldn't cash, but King of the Monsters kicked a lot of ass, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun, even minus Kong jerking off every 3 minutes.
It sounds like they know what they've got, and they're just going with it. So, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun.
I appreciate. I would rather this exist than not. Like, at least it's going to have some entertaining shit. Might be terrible, but the fights will be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that's going to be 85% of the movie.
If it's 85% monster fights, it'll be fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
The concern is always with a kaiju movie that they're gonna go to the humans.
Yeah, that never works out well.
Yeah, that's kind of what hurt the first Godzilla movie, which was they tried to make you care about the humans, and there was just nothing there. It was just like, why aren't they dead yet?
One of them special? Does Godzilla need to eat them to gain extra atomic breath? Because I'll care. Does anyone have any other thoughts on the Kong versus Godzilla trailer?
I think I'm going to sign up to HBO Max, which I did not think I was going to do. So, well done, ridiculous movie trailer. Well done.
There you go, HBO. You had to burn down the cinema industry, but you got another subscription. Hope you're happy.
So we'll enjoy Godzilla vs. Kong after we're done screaming at the 4-hour Snyder cut.
It's going to be a weird month.
Yeah. Well, what's not a weird month these days?
True.
But we were inspired by the, Godzilla versus King Kong trailer / topic. We want to talk about other great big fights, be it animals turned up to giant versions or fictional characters, because, both are applicable.
Fictional characters turned up to giant sizes.
Okay.
Or animals.
Yeah. Either one. I know Bevan had one, so I was kind of waiting.
All right. I'll go first
for a while.
Yeah, I was going to choose giant honey badger.
Versus...
Oh, I got to have an opponent? Versus whatever. Who gives a
just
shit?
want to see a giant honey badger.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Versus Kong and Godzilla fighting in tandem.
I would put up against your giant honey badger, a giant badger from Wind in the Willows. Not because I think he'll win, but because I think it will be an awful tragedy. It will scar a generation.
I got a better choice. That's an animal and also literary. Giant-sized versions of the rabbits from Watership Down.
Oh God! Just versus their tragic existence.
Yep. And we'll say versus a giant-sized cast of Tale of Two Cities.
You just get to see all that awful rabbit tragedy up close because they're huge. Just bleeding all over your city.
As they're eating France.
I'd like to see a giant hippopotamus fight a giant alligator. I feel like that'd be a real fucking throwdown.
Yeah. They are both titans of the river.
How would that be different than a normal-sized fight?
Bigger and more cool.
Yeah.
And a lot more shit. Because that's all hippos do, is shit.
I mean, they fuck shit up, too.
Oh, they do that propeller thing with their tail, where they, sprinkler system their shit around them. Imagine a giant one doing that over, I don't know, Seattle. God, that would be a cinematic spectacle.
All right, animal and fictional. I'll go Ricky Tikki Tabi, giant versus the giant cobra. Let's go mongoose versus cobra.
I don't know who any
Huge
of those
style.
Okay, I've got one. Giant shark from Jaws versus regular-sized cast of Friends.
No, they've got to be giant too, it's only fair. But that is just like saying shark from Jaws versus Friends scaled up. Shark's very much still going to win.
Yeah, but who doesn't want to watch that?
Yeah. I mean, that would be funny. I can't think of one now. I guess now that we're still in Seattle, giant Fraser Crane and Niles Crane.
Versus each other.
Versus giant Norm from Cheers.
I'm just picturing the waves rippling as it descends and he steps into being, and you see the entire city look at this figure moving toward them and gasp collectively, "Oh!"
But since Frasier has a partner, could Cliff be with Norm?
No, the reason they gave Frasier a partner is because it'd just be ridiculously outmatched if there weren't two Crane brothers.
That feels fair, honestly. Norm's a hard drinker in a northern climate. I think he'd whoop their ass pretty good.
Yeah. And, you can't have Frasier just talking to Norm. Frasier needs to talk to Niles because that's where the humour happens. They're ridiculously out of touch of the world.
Yeah, but Cliff would just stand around talking anyway. He's not going to fight.
That's a good point. It would just his droning on at megaphone supersonic volumes. Just people's ears bleeding. Yeah. Again, spectacle. That's what people want.
I'm going to circle back to one we kind of touched on earlier, and I'm going to say Godzilla versus Giant El Kabong.
Well, it's in keeping with the Hanna-Barbera extended universe, so...
I don't know why that character has always tickled me, but I still just love that it's a guy named El Kabong with a guitar, and he just smashes it over people's heads and screams Kabong.
I think I got the ultimate sci-fi horror kids movie. Giant cast from Goonies versus a bunch of giant gremlins.
I mean, the Goonies are going to get torn to pieces.
Yeah, they're a spunky bunch of kids, but they weren't exactly fighters.
Yeah, but they're giant plucky kids now.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's like regular-sized Goonies versus regular-sized Gremlins, the Goonies are going to get horribly annihilated. It'd be terrible to watch. So if you just scale that up, it's really just them getting horribly annihilated on a massive scale.
Giant Fratelli family versus giant Simba.
Just monsters versus a lion?
Yeah. But baby Simba. Giant baby Simba.
Do they have guns still? Because that gun's got to be giant. That baby Simba is dead.
I don't know. It's still, this is all ridiculous. They don't. If neither of them are giant, I guess baby Simba's still dead.
Yeah, it's got a gun.
Yeah. Oh, how about Gremlins versus Dracula from Monster Squad?
Just giant Monster Squad.
Mm.
The Dracula from Monster Squad. The movie Monster
the Dracula, because he was actually dangerous. The Monster Squad, basically just sex crimes, which is still dangerous, but not the same kind of dangerous as Dracula and Gremlins.
I don't know.
It doesn't scale up as well.
Dracula threw dynamite at a cop car. Like, Dracula was not fucking around.
The problem with both of them is, the second the sun comes up, the battle's over because both of them are giants, so they can't find any place to, to hide from burning in the sun.
That's the perfect climax to the movie.
Yes. Nothing can stop these unkillable... Oh, never mind.
That would be a fun fight, though, because it would take a gazillion gremlins to bring him down, but there's a gazillion gremlins, so...
And he likes his little technology, so they could fuck his shit up in that regard, too.
Mm.
They could steal his dynamite.
Yeah, he winds up throwing, Gizmo into the Atlantic Ocean. It's like, oh, that was a bad idea.
Oh, God, the Gremlins could come together and form a giant gremlin, Voltron style.
An hideous gremlin mech. I can see them doing that.
It's not a terrible movie that we've written.
Yeah, Toho in the 60s, some of the shit they made is not that far away.
This might be too good for Toho in the 60s.
What did they do? That one Frankenstein Conquers the World or something?
I think the ultimate clash. A giant Pee Wee Herman versus a giant Mr. Bean. And there's a movie with potential.
I'm just going to preemptively say, fuck you, Rick. Oh, all right, never mind. You're going somewhere else.
Where'd you think I was going?
I was just defending Pee Wee. It seems I always have to anytime we got up.
Well, you have to defend him from a giant Mr. Bean now. That's the premise. Not from...
I have to defend him from Rick.
Snarky observations about his personal life.
A giant Ash from Evil Dead versus regular-sized Cthulhu.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. I don't know. It's a difficult one to say. Ash is well equipped to fight those sort of things, but he usually fucks things up in an amusing way. Which would be hilarious if he was scaled to the size of a city-smashing nightmare.
Huh. Kind of surprising they've never done Godzilla versus Cthulhu. That feels like low-hanging fruit.
Oh,
I mean, they're in each other's turf.
Somebody definitely just stole your idea and wrote a pitch treatment for that. Yeah, Victoria era New York or whatever it was Lovecraft says. Cities. Something coming out of the water. Expect the usual mind-bending horror. Oh, it's Godzilla. That's refreshing.
I think it would just be great to style it like a standard Cthulhu scary one. When it's coming out of the water, just fucking out of nowhere from behind it, you see Godzilla jump up and smack it.
Just fucking
like, oh no!
Hit it with a steel chair.
Yeah.
Hey, Godzilla saved us, but we're all still insane.
Just the movie is like 60 minutes of commendable Lovecraftian horror. And then boom, Godzilla with a steel chair.
They keep showing the steel chair factory with its big steel chair sign and all the early shots really laying it on there.
Life around Ports Inn hasn't been the same since the old steel chair factory closed down and the devil-worshipping cult moved in.
Welcome to Innsmouth, formerly known as the home of the world's biggest steel chair.
Hey, what should we do with this giant beer hat and bald eagle tank top? Throw them in the ocean. Maybe something will swim into them.
Oddly specific tourist attractions just haven't been bringing in the visitors.
So we
guess we should all form a death cult now. See, it writes itself.
It doesn't have to be this particular idea, but I do like the some unusual, stupid tourist attraction coming into play in whatever movie this is.
I mean, there should be at least 3 of them in a new Godzilla movie. Otherwise, somebody hasn't done their job.
Yeah.
In my opinion. If King Kong doesn't pick up some kind of novelty banana on top of a banana corporation and get really confused and angry when he finds out it's a marketing gimmick, then this movie's a waste of time, frankly.
Yeah, one bit from the trailer that was interesting is that apparently King Kong found Thor's axe somewhere or some magical material that can absorb radiation breath.
That was just a big novelty banana. You can really see it in the trailer.
I would fucking love it if that was
It's like we're going out of business. We spent too much on the giant novelty banana. Why do we have to make it radioactive, radiation proof?
I understand, the marketing reach and the location and everything, but why did you make it out of space age materials? That seems excessive.
The banana cost you $3 billion.
We were doing well at the time.
It was a tax
Stocks
write-off.
were up. Hindsight is always 20/20.
Honestly, I'll let it go if they do just squeeze that in, of whatever he's going to grab. They're like, yeah, this bridge is made of some sort of super anti-radiation material.
Every week, Godzilla destroys it, so we finally said enough with this shit.
It'd be great if they spent the first half of the movie just really ramping up. Here's how we're going to take down Godzilla. We've made this Godzilla-proof submarine. It's taken the economy of 3 countries to make it. And then King Kong just picks it up and uses it as a club for the rest of the movie. That'd make me laugh.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. So I had one for you, Rick. You are the bigger Godzilla fan among pretty much most of the folks we know. They touched on a few of the classics with King of the Monsters, and it kind of looks like they're going down that road. So are there any from the old series that you're hoping will make a comeback?
Honestly, I love the job they did with Rodan and King of the Monsters. It was great. But honestly, they introduced a whole ton of monsters in that movie that they didn't show on screen. So I would actually be happy if they just actually gave screen time to some of those, as opposed to bringing in. I mean, one of the goofier slash fun ones from Toho is like War of the Gargantuas, but that pretty much is covered by Kong.
I was sure that in King of the Monsters, I saw a silhouette of a monster that looked like Kong. That just me. Was that wishful thinking?
No, you did. They had this creature called Behemoth that essentially was basically a giant Kong with tusks.
I see.
Hey, we can't afford Kong, but we want Kong.
Although, actually, I take back what I said before about the goofiness of Smog Monster. If they actually did an updated version, if they did just almost kind of like a horror version of that could be pretty awesome. Of course, it would be depressing as fuck. It's like, yeah, we have this monster that's just belching toxic waste and cancer on everybody, and
does sound depressing. I know, some kind of, I guess the next step is mech suit. That's the way forward. Mecha Godzilla. If you can't beat him, build a robot version of him. That's the Japanese movie way.
I mean, they did attempt to do that against King Kong in 70s, 80s, somewhere about that. I just saw a video on that today.
I think it was 60s. This movie was called King Kong Escapes. And yes, I've seen it.
The Mecha Kong, the big robot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's about as ridiculous as it sounds.
It looked pretty wild.
Because basically the plot, not to spoil it, but the plot is that some guy's trying to mine something, so he builds a giant robot Kong to do the job, and it fails. So he figures, well, I might as well then kidnap the real King Kong.
Well, you might as well at that point. If you've sunk that much effort into giant monkey solution for your mining problems, then you may as well go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as far as craziness of moves, that's pretty lateral. Once you've gone to build a giant robot monkey to mine something, kidnap a real giant monkey, about the same level.
I wonder if he only found out about the real giant monkey when he was already halfway through building this giant It's like, shit.
You mean I spent $3 billion building this goddamn thing?
Nobody told me a real life equivalent monkey already existed. I mean, chloroform, it'd take a lot of chloroform, but it's much less expensive than building this robotic ape.
I do kind of feel that, because sometimes you'll just be working your ass off on fixing some problem. It's so frustrating and annoying. And then a Google search reveals that there's a product or something. It's like, oh, this has been fucking so easily fixable the whole time.
Or he's just putting the finishing touches on Mecha Kong. And he's just called it Mecha Kong because he thought that sounded cool. And then they discovered King Kong. The newspaper's like, giant ape discovered in South Pacific. So, bollocks. Now I just look stupid.
Everyone's going to think I ripped him off.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got it. I think this is going to be tough to beat. Giant tapeworm versus regular size Hitler. Hear me out. Starts off as a regular size egg and in a bad piece of sausage or something. And the movie is shot mostly from the point of view of the tapeworm as it grows and grows and grows until we pan out and you can visibly see the tapeworm moving inside of Hitler, and then he eventually explodes.
Oh, that's a bit of body horror going on there. Be quite unpleasant.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was talking to a bunch of Nazis.
I was going to say that the movie has a guaranteed happy ending there.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Okay,
I don't go see the Saw films either. Just not my.
You're going to say, the movie premise is me shitting in Hitler's mouth. It's like, I don't want to see that. Why, you fucking Nazi sympathizer? Watch me shit in Hitler's mouth.
Look into my butthole.
It's like,
There are limits.
I prefer not to watch, Hitler taking it from this asshole. That's Nazi talk right there.
Well, history will judge us all, won't it? Podcast will live on forever. We'll see who comes out on the right side of history.
I do wish it was easy to make mecha versions of people and things as easily as these movies make it seem. Because, honestly, I think a lot of us would throw half our daily bullshit to Mecha Drew, Mecha Rick, Mecha Steve.
Absolutely. The tragedy of the mecha technology is it takes such technological advancements to achieve that. It'd be like we could have spent all of this money on just flying to a new planet and starting over again, where Godzilla isn't. We could have cured every disease with the sheer amount of technology that went into making this perfect robot replica of a giant monkey.
Let's be perfectly honest, though. If you were to poll the world and say, cure every disease, or create, real-life Mecha Kong, let's be perfectly honest which way it would go.
If I was a tin pot dictator of some weird country and they said, all right, we can have a regular army of 100,000 soldiers, or we can have one giant metal dinosaur robot. Be like, well, there's no contest really, is it?
That's what annoys me about real life dictators. I mean, you have all these batch of people and all they want to do is genocide. And I'm like, I want just one insane leader who's just like, I've dedicated my entire country's gross national product toward building giant robots.
What are you going to do with them? Nothing. They're just going to be there, and it's going to make me happy.
That's what we need more in this world. Psychos who are less about killing and more about the giant robots.
Honestly, I would take it. I'm down for a giant robot insane thing. Let's fucking vary it up a little. Make it run on I don't know, whatever is causing climate change by that point. Probably acid explosions? I don't know.
Fast forward 100 years where our grandchildren are being chased by by Mecha Kong through the ruins of this world going, why did my grandparents think this was the better choice?
Listen, kid, if there's one thing that our current situation makes clear, it's that apparently every generation has a duty to deeply fuck over the one that's coming next, so we're just taking our responsibility seriously.
And this was the funniest way to do it.
God. That would be something that would be kind of awesome. It's like, yes, our grandparents gave us climate change. We give you giant killer robots. Because, yes, we might be a disappointment as a generation, but we would be the most awesome, disappointing generation.
By God, we're going to leave a mark.
To my grandchildren, I gift you the most radical death. Oh, man. All right, folks. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week on Side Quest. We thank you for joining us for our fictional throwdowns and discussion of Stonks. We will be back next week with a regular episode of Authors and Dragons, and of course we'll be doing fun stuff on the Patreon and the Discord in between if you want to check it out and join us. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.